It's been quite a while since a plane really surprised me during our maiden flight, and it turns out the RedwingRC 50cc Yak 55 isn't going to be any different. It needed a few clicks of left trim on the ailerons, and I would find out that it's a little nose heavy. But aside from that, it flew nice. It was doing this nosing down all by itself when I got off of the gas. It would fly pretty straight and level with the power on. But all it needed was a touch of elevator and it'd flatten right out. You can hear we had a pretty stiff wind. And I thought I'd turn it into the wind and see how it elevators. Despite getting bounced around by the wind, it elevated pretty good, and I was even able to do a little bit of a pedal turn in the middle of it. When it's broadside to the wind, that's when the wings really start to rock. And while I was up that high, I thought we'd hover it a little bit, but in the wind, that's just about useless. This is the first pass where I slowed it down to see what it'd be like on a landing approach. A little bit of up elevator is all it took to hold it nice and level. And that made me a little brave, so wind or not, I thought I'd pull it up and see how it flies slow. And again, just a little bit of up elevator and some throttle, and it'd hang there real nice. So far, it's not shown any bad tendencies. This was the first real landing approach. I want to see how it did in the wind. And you can see right at the end here, the nose dropped on me a little faster than I thought. I hit too much elevator and it popped right back up and kept flying. When we get the weight moved back, that ought to go away. This is approach number 2, and you can hear the wind has kicked up a bunch, but the Yak seems to not mind very much at all. It's a little bumpy near the ground, but it settles right in, and I get brave. Here's my snap roll. Everybody knows that if I snap it on takeoff, I really like the plane. This is the third landing attempt. I decided to see what the ground handling was like with this Yak. I've never had a tailwheel assembly like this one before, and it really works nice. It's easy to get the plane tracking straight, and it listens to rudder commands very well on the ground. I don't know if it's the angle that the Yak sits at on the ground, but it seems to resist the wind while it's taxiing around pretty well. I love doing touch and goes with any airplane, but with a new one, I think it helps you develop a good sense of fine control with the plane. And when you do a lot of touch and goes, you get bored with just normal takeoffs. One of the things I'm liking about the RedwingRC Yak is that it's making a lot of lift, but that's easy to control even when it's windy on the runway. And while I was thinking about all of that, I disappointed the cameraman.
You forgot the snap roll.
So I had to come around and do one for G. He's my cameraman. I tried some inverted and upright spins with the RedwingRC Yak, and it does both of them pretty well, but you have to consider how much wind we had here, and it was really blowing it out of those spins. Given some more reasonable levels of wind, I think this plane's going to be great in flat spins. I know this is a little hard to see, but right here I decided to kick in a bunch of right rudder and try and hold it level with the wings. And despite the wind again, it did a pretty nice flat circle. And here I thought I'd try a couple of simple tumbles. Again, the wind's blowing it out of some of this stuff, but it does pretty well. This is the end of flight number 2, and you can see it so often happens at our field, the wind has changed directions 180 degrees, so now I had to land uphill on the runway. But the Redwing Yak handles very well at low speeds. It handles well at all speeds, even in the wind. And I think I can get used to a plane that handles this well on the ground, too.